So we are off to fly some Bebop 2s. This is Jamie. I'm Jonathan. And we've got with us the new FPV headset and the Skycontroller 2. And we're also going to compare it with the Cinemizer in the Skycontroller 1, which I've been flying for a while. Jamie's old school with staring at an iPad screen. So we're going to find somewhere in the open and compare all the different ways of controlling and viewing the Bebop 2. We're going to go into the middle of the countryside where we can keep clear of everyone, and see how we get on. We're particularly interested to compare, I am, the new FPV setup with the traditional setup and the Cinemizer setup, which I really like. The Cinemizer's now being discontinued and it's not cheap, so it's not a great option for everyone. Let's see how we get on. So my setup is Skycontroller 1, iPad's there, and for those that use this setup at the moment, the Skycontroller connects to the Bebop automatically, really, via Wi-Fi, I guess. Yeah. Yes. And then the iPad or tablet connects to the Skycontroller, not to the Bebop. So that's it, gets its signal from the Skycontroller, again using Wi-Fi. Sometimes it gets a little bit awkward to set this up because the iPad tries to jump on the Bebop's Wi-Fi signal, and because it can control it directly without the Skycontroller. And when we see the Skycontroller 2 setup, you'll see that that is a bit different. But I've also got the Cinemizer here, which is plugged into the Skycontroller HDMI socket. It has its own power, links to the glasses, and then I get basically the image you'd normally get on the iPad. It's actually slightly different, in fact, but you get that on the Cinemizer in 720 res, which is really good. And it's not really fully immersive because it looks like I don't know, 40-inch TV screen, probably about 10 feet away. But it's really clear and it avoids the need for a sunscreen and so on, and it's a lot easier to fly, I find. So we'll get it powered up and flying. Shame I can't show you my view through here because it's a good one.
The FPV glasses are a good choice, but it means you have to use the bigger remote that won't connect to the newer, smaller remote. You also end up looking a little bit like Robocop.
Yeah, it's a good look there. So I can see I'm 43 meters up. Battery life's good on everything, and it's really nice to fly.
Don't know if you can see that flying off into the distance. The range on the Skycontroller says, is it 1.5 kilometers, John?
I think it's up to 2 max.
To 2 max, but we've never been able to take it further than 900 meters without losing signal.
So we're at distance is 254 meters away. We're at 43 meters height.
So hopefully you can see on his screen what is happening.
So I can look down at the screen. I can even look up into the sky. There are some eye shields for this, but you lose visual with the thing. So I can basically, I'm looking at what the screen's looking at, but it's much clearer on this. And I can see small text really clearly, and it's a great way to fly, actually. A really good way to fly. You can see the field, again you get reflection, which I don't get in this, but you can see the field going off into the distance and the footpath. It's part of the world's way. That's beautiful. But it's a very dull day, so I'm going to head back now
Parrot have claimed to updated the software on the Bebop, which is supposed to improve brightness of the video, so we'll see what that's like later on.
Maximum speed 17 meters a second. Let's go. There we are in the overhead. Brilliant. So those are the two ways we've been flying. I've been a real fan of these, but the Skycontroller, as you can see, is massive, and what we're about to show you is the Skycontroller 2. It's just come out, so new in fact there isn't a manual for it, and Parrot Technical Support haven't got one yet either. So we'll show you that, and we'll show you the new FPV setup. Skycontroller 1, Skycontroller 2. As you can see, there's quite a bit size difference, much more portable. We're told the range is the same, the buttons are more or less the same. There's some extra ones here. This one's particularly useful because it flicks between what the drone sees and what you can see out the back camera on your phone. So this is how it goes together. This is an iPhone 6s. Get your normal sync cable. Stick that through there, into that. Fire up the software, which is that. Plug it into here. Old USB port, looks a bit unnecessarily chunky. Press that. That starts that going. Start the got a red flashing light on here which shows it's syncing up, or probably waiting for that to get a GPS signal. And it's gone green, so it's now connected, so it's actually quicker to connect, which is great. And then if you look at this, you get this sort of stereo image. Just so you can see, if you go back to that and hit that, you actually get the normal image, so you can still have that, and then that can sit on, you get a mount which sits on there, and it can be a tablet or a phone. So if you want to use the traditional way, you can do that, but obviously it's a lot smaller than the Skycontroller one. But the interesting thing is when you press that, you get the stereo. You line it up with the lines there, close that, stick it in there, then we're ready to go with a lot less cables. Now if I find this, which is here somewhere, if I press that button, I can see you now, which is great. I can see the quad, and if I press it again, it goes back to the view from the quad, so that's good. Then I've got an overlay showing the battery percentages for both controller and drone, and then height, distance, and speed, and whether it's recording or not. And there's also a weird box thing moving around, and I have no idea what that does. And there isn't a manual yet, so anyway, if we get it in the air, I need to look at this around myself. Okay, that one. more immersive. The screen is right in front of my face, but it's a bit more pixelated as well. The drone view can go up.
We have found the view is a little bit better with this if you use a Samsung phone due to the Super AMOLED screen.
Did we? Okay, we did actually.
We
Right.
did. John's a massive Apple fan. Hard for him to admit these things.
Right, I'm off. I'm 33 metres high. 12 metres per second, just steady away.
How's the comfort?
It's actually alright. I think it's recording now because the not recording button's gone off. And it's actually a better image than I thought it was going to be, although the resolution's not there. It's like looking through a little bit of a sort of fine mesh, and that's the resolution of the iPhone. So if you've got a better than if you've got better than 401 what is it, the dots per inch, then you'll get a better picture. But it's actually really, really good. We're 370 metres away. Everything's looking good. Just switched the button on the right. Now brings up the sort of radar to show that whether you're pointing the right way. And it's much actually, you know, that circle with the V in it and the blue segment. And you can see where you should be pointing your aerial. With this, it's much more sensitive. With the Skycontroller one, you can move around and it's slow to move. This, it immediately tells you whether you're in the right thing or not. And you press it again and there's no overlay at all.
Are you saying on the old Skycontroller you didn't have to be as direct?
I think so, yeah.
I suppose that does make sense with the original Skycontroller having a much wider antenna.
Yeah, exactly. There's no head tracking, which is a shame really, because I'm sure it could be built in.
So the actual headset itself just looks like a sort of traditional like Google Cardboard but plastic version VR headset.
Yeah.
The strap doesn't look particularly comfortable, I must admit.
Yeah, there's a bit of pressure on my nose. I'm just turning the thing round, I'm flying back. Now, alright, a box has appeared on the screen. That's great, that box is where I am.
Right, that is useful.
So when you turn, you can fly towards your position, and that's something really new. I mean, we were just saying we could do with that.
Yeah, we'll have to test it on the traditional version, see if it's part of the software or if it's just on the new controller.
Yeah.
We'll check that out in a sec.
So I'm flying along the path now. Just coming towards the overhead. There we are. It's going to come down a bit. It's a bit strange using these controls compared to what we're used to. Feels a little bit flimsier, if you like, but
The actual sticks.
feels quite lightweight, yeah, but I'm sure it's a case of getting used to. So I'm going to bring it down a bit more. It's going to go to the side a bit, bring it down a bit more. And then I'm going to fly along this line here. Bit worried about the height I was at then.
He has crashed it into a tree before.
Yeah.
This tree over here.
Oh, there's a tree there. See that tree at the end of the path?
I didn't, I was showing the
There is
previous tree.
There's a tree at the end of the path there. Right. I'm going to come along the field. $18 meters a second.
Which we believe is its max speed.
18 meters a second, yeah, 19 meters there. It's a nice experience. I'd like it a bit clearer. lost there. No, that's maybe because I'm pointing the wrong way. Just going to bring up the radar. Yeah, I'm off the radar. That's right. It is weird switching to this view, knowing it's out there. Okay, I'll bring it back.
How does the VR headset compare with the Cinemizers?
It's interesting. It is quite interesting. It's definitely more immersive. You can tell the resolution's not as good. So I'm looking at my car now, and it's sort of made up of about 20 blocks. So that's not ideal, but I do like the immersive feel of it. So I'm thinking I'm probably preferring it, as long as you don't need too much detail. I'm going to avoid that tree again.
How do you feel stood up? Any queasiness or?
No, it's alright. It's alright. See how close I can get to us without, well, flying in close proximity. Sounds close.
It's not that close.
It's weird looking at the back of my head. A little bit queasy. A little bit.
You are flying it around in circles now.
Yeah. That tree's here somewhere.
There's your tree.
Yeah. Let's see if I can land it with the goggles. Find the land button. Ta-da!
Your nose doesn't look too great right now.
It's alright, it's a bit... It's alright. It's alright, actually. It's fairly lightweight. But look what we've got compared to loads of wires before. So I'm just going to fly it manually without that for a second. Find if it'll take off. Actually, it probably won't. Just to see how the controls feel.
I think if you're just doing a short flight, you don't really need any screen. You can pretty much fly it by eye. But if you're going any distance of note, you need either the screen or the glasses.
Yeah, it's really quite good.
Good.
This could be the go-to one now. Jamie's first time with this setup. What's your initial thoughts?
It's good, it's quite immersive. I'm not as confident.
No, it feels a bit weird, doesn't it?
Yep. It feels... I'm finding the controls okay.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a low battery warning, so what I'm going to do is hit the home button immediately and not risk losing John's quadcopter.
Okay.
But this might be interesting, just watching it fly itself. That box showing you, the box that appears to show where we are, is actually really useful.
Yeah. If you get a bit lost.
Yeah.
What we used to do is hit the home button, didn't we? And it would point to it, and then this is a different way of doing it.
So it is quite good. It's not what I'd say full immersion. It's not like with the Samsung Gear VR, which I have at home, that is full immersion, you can't see anything but the screen. This just looks like you're kind of in a cinema looking at a really massive screen. There is a black board around it.
What do you think to the resolution?
The resolution's not too bad. It is better on your Cinemizers, but you're not as close.
Yeah.
This is definitely more immersive.
Cinemizers feel more like you're looking at the normal screen, but with good clarity and no glare.
I've now switched to camera mode, which is weird looking in the correct direction, but through, well, effectively a TV. There is flashing X's up and to the right, and we haven't quite figured out what they do yet.
No.
If they ever release a manual, we'll
work it out.
We'll work it out, yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Just have a manual fly around without the gogs if you like.
Yeah. Cool. Cheers.
Does feel a bit different, doesn't it?
I do need some gogs. Mind.
Oh yeah, glasses.
Since this is John's quadcopter, I can be a bit more daring and go nearer trees.
I wonder if you get low battery warning anywhere.
Oh, this is on low battery warning.
Yeah, but we better bring it in. But I'm not hearing any beeping anywhere. Does that mean that you don't hear it if it's not on the screen?
Yeah, there's no flashing light on the button.
Oh, it's gone red.
Oh, right. Is that normally green?
Yeah.
Well, there we go then. Well, we better land it. I actually think the controller feels really nice.
Yeah.
I actually like it.
Yeah.
Kind of feels a bit like a larger Xbox controller.
Cool. So we've tried every combination, and I think we've reached a conclusion. What do you think, Jamie?
Well, for me, the best setup is the original controller with the Cinemizers. The Cinemizers are more comfortable on the face than the VR. You're not as close image-wise, but it's a lot sharper, a lot clearer, and you feel more comfortable flying them with. Unfortunately, you can't put the Cinemizers in with the new controller, hence that's why my choice is the original. It may have been different, but because we can't do that, who knows?
We like the small controller, and it's great if you just want to pack it small, walk somewhere and fly it. It's a lot more compact, and it is a great flying experience with it, and it seems to hook up faster as well. And if you could fit the Cinemizers into the Skycontroller 2, I think you'd have the best of all worlds. The biggest letdown with the VR is the resolution. So I've got an XS, a 6S, iPhone, and it is better with a higher res screen, but it's not as good as the Cinemizers, which are 720 OLED, and that really gives you some confidence because you get all the detail, whereas the FPV on the phone just looks like everything's made up of tiny little bricks because of the because you're looking at one half of the screen, only a part of that half of the screen, and then you're magnifying it. So
there is also no lens adjustments in the VR headset,
yeah,
which there is on the FPVs, which is a shame because there is plenty of VR headsets out there on the market with lens adjustments.
Right, okay. It works for me, and I use reading glasses, so it's obviously okay. It's not as good for you, is it? You were finding it was getting a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, there was a lot of software adjustments, which took me a while to get it into a suitable condition. I did get there, but it took a while, but it was nowhere near as good as the Cinemizers, and I set them up in seconds.
So my plan now is to try and find a way of connecting the Cinemizers to the Skycontroller 2, so you've got a really portable rig with glasses. I think overall we both felt that looking at the goggles, either of them was probably better looking at the screen. Is that fair to say? Or did you still find the screen?
I still think I'd stick with the screen over the VR goggles if I wanted to do any serious flight. I didn't feel as confident with the VR goggles on for whipping the quad around.
Yeah, and the only time I've ever flown into a tree after 50 odd flights was when I first tried the VR gogs and swung round, and it was all too late. I was in a tree. So there's a conclusion. I mean, to be fair, I mean the Cinemizers cost, because you can't get them new, or if you do, you're paying over £1,000, believe it or not. I got them from eBay for just over £400. It's still loads of money. And when the FPV came out, I thought, oh god, I've just wasted 400 quid. But they are actually really good, and the FPV is not as good, unfortunately, until screen res gets better, or there is another option. So my plan is to try and get the Cinemizers working with the Skycontroller 2, which is really good. But it's probably worth 300 quid for the Skycontroller 2 on its own, to be fair. But you can put an iPad or tablet or a phone on the Skycontroller 2 because you get a bracket for it. So if that's how you fly, then it's actually a more portable rig. The only trouble is I don't see how you fasten on the sun shield. You might have to mop something up to shield the sun.
But if you wanted to fly without any screen or anything, you just wanted to whip it around full line of sight, I think the Skycontroller 2 on its own
is the way to go.
It sets up faster and you're just off in seconds.
And range seems really good as well. There you have it. And that is our test of the FPV Skycontroller 2 with the Bebop 2. Thanks for watching.